10 seconds. Here we go.
This is a program to help educate you on some of the issues that are vital to your understanding and way of life, and what can be done to improve it. Only when we get other views can we make intelligent choices regarding decisions and options available to us for the enrichment and improvement of our lives. Good evening. Truman Sigler for Personalities in the News, live from not-so-smoky Fresno, California now. This show is dedicated to the memory of John Castle, who started Personalities in the News in 1964, and it ran through 2003. The format of this program is educational in nature and based on the constitutions of the United States of America and the California Republic. I'm going to read a welcome to you. Do this every time. You came here from there because you didn't like there. And now you want to change here to be like there. We are not racist, phobic, or anti-whatever you are. We simply like it here the way it is. And most of us actually came here because it's not like there, wherever there was. You are welcome here, but please stop trying to make here like there. If you want here to be like there, you should not have left there to come here. And you are invited to leave here and go back there at your earliest convenience. The program today is a continuation of last week's program, Talking Points, on current events in the news of the last few months, with some additions and updates about where we are today and how we got here. As these are current events and still in progress, and the full story is still not out and may take some more time to research the actual facts, our talking points for tonight will be basic on the Constitution of this Republic as set forth by the founders. Who determines the meaning of the words is one topic. Are we a republic or a democracy? Money of account. Why is that important? The so-called pandemic and the constructive notice that we use for peaceful assembly and petition for redress of grievances versus protest, looting, burning, and rioting. Our guest, Ellen Wojtyla, is Recall Gavin 2020. She's representing that, and she will give us an update about how that's doing and how it's going and towards the future. And we will also entertain your questions and comments. This will be moderated by our co-host, Steve Hempling, director of the Free Enterprise Society, Sue Ann Cesar, and myself. There are alleged claims of police misconduct and other issues. We are advocating using the constructive notice process to inform them of their legal obligations to their oath of office. The events that have happened in these past few weeks and months, actually, are of grave importance to all of us. We must use the constructive notice process now if this great country is to survive. The law enforcement police are arresting people for exercising their rights. The hijacking of protesting people by criminal factions that looted, burned, and attacked innocent people's businesses after the so-called marches was and is a war against the foundation and principles of this country and must be dealt with as an invasion. It is being condoned by the same political parties by inflicting unconstitutional orders and mandates by governors, mayors, and others, which destroys the trust and respect of the people and fear of any interaction with the officials and the police. The so-called pandemic coronavirus and the unlawful reaction of the servants in government and to the edicts and reactionary controls they placed on the people. We, the people, have the power and the means to effect a change and force you servants, which we elected to manage this republic, that you took an oath to honor. Now, we're not asking, we're demanding that you servants honor your oath and follow the Constitution. We, the people, only have the rights that we're willing to stand for. Otherwise, we are only slaves. There are not any provisions in the Constitution for protests, rioting, destruction, burning of property. Only peaceful assembly for the redress and notice of grievances. Also, we have a link here for you to look at. It's called recallgavin2020.com. That's recallgavin2020.com. And also, after a time here, you can call in at 559-899-1550. That's Talk Radio KXEX 1550 with your questions and comments. Now we'll get back into the meat of the program, and I'm going to introduce Steve Hempling, the director of Free Enterprise Society, to start off with the talking points and kind of take it from here as it runs. Steve, welcome to Personalities in the News.
Well, I'm very excited. We got a great guest here, Ellen from Recall Gavin. I mean, there isn't anything that I can see that's more important than getting Gavin out, except for the propositions in the other election that's going on. But Gavin is pretty bad. I'm surprised, that Gavin actually wasn't the worst governor, I guess, around. The Michigan governor, Whitmer, was pretty bad, and New Mexico and New York, of course. But anyway, they're all got to go. I mean, I think a lot of mayors should be recalled as well. And beyond recall, I mean, once we get him recalled, if we can do it, he should face criminal charges. He hurt people, and I don't think he has any law behind him. Many states are already ruling these lockdowns unconstitutional. If they were unconstitutional today, they were unconstitutional on the first day, because emergency powers do not give the government power to take the Constitution away. They can take away regulations, statutes, that kind of thing. They can, go override those, but they cannot override the Constitution, even in an emergency that I can find. So, but Ellen, you
Hi.
represent the recall, and I hear it's going great. I see those guys out there all the time. I've been collecting some sheets. I mean, I'm out in the mountains. I don't have a lot of people around here, but they all like this recall effort where I'm at. So I got some more sheets to send in here next week. But tell me, so let people know what's going on with that. I mean, we remember Gray Davis. He got recalled for he tried to help people get better electricity rates and end up costing us more. He got recalled really quick just for that little thing. But now Newsom destroys the entire economy and closes all these businesses, and we're still struggling to get enough signatures. So I hope we're getting close to the finish line here.
Hi, thank you for inviting me onto the show. Thank you, Truman, and thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah, we've been working really hard, and you're right. We need to get him out. And I'd like to say that we're at the finish line, but we're not at this point. We're about 1/3 of the way. And our final date is November 17th, but there is a ray of hope just on the horizon, and that is we have filed for an extension to the recall effort, and there's a possibility we can extend this out 90 days. And if by doing so, that would buy us the time that we need to get this done. Two other petitions that referendums filed and were granted a 90-day extension, and that has set a precedent for us now to file for the same kind of extension. We need that because what happened when the economy closed down is all the venues, all the places, all of the fairs, all of the outdoor venues, county fairs, all those closed down, and we didn't have a way to collect signatures from people out in the public. So it is just absolutely amazing how many hundreds of thousands of signatures we collected as a volunteer army without any help from community activities, because we weren't able to congregate. And so we're hoping to get that extension, because that will be the lifeline to this recall effort.
Well, I would think that's totally reasonable considering COVID. I mean, this is like a struggle. They're trying to recall the mayor there in Los Angeles, and his rules don't even allow you to go out and get signatures. That's kind of
and talking about Los Angeles, that's actually the largest county of registered Republican voters in all of the country, as a matter of fact. And so to not be able to go out to the venues that have now been closed down or limited to a certain number of participants has really made this virtually impossible. So what we have done is really a miracle, and we need everyone's support still. I mean, we're not there yet, and we still need help. We still need help with volunteers getting signatures. I think we need to realize that just signing a petition is not enough at this point. We need to take a personal responsibility if we really, really want to get this guy out, to go out and get some more signatures. Or each person who signed it needs to go out and get 10 more signatures. We need to work together.
No, that's really great. I'm for me anyway. I can't really remember anybody who's been against it. It's just a matter of getting to the people, and so there's a lot of people listening here in California that would like to probably help. So how do they do that?
That's great. We need everyone to go to recallgavin2020.com. There are many ways you can help. You can go to the website and learn about what the recall is about. You can you can sign up for the county Facebook pages if you're on social media, and you can find out where all the events and all the permanent signing locations are. We definitely need financial donation because we've done an amazing job as a volunteer army, but we all know that you want to get past the finish line, it's going to take money, and that's another way people can help. If they can't get out, they can donate to Recall Gavin 2020. So there's different ways, there's lots of ways you can help. To give you an example, I have people who they donate their time to drive to pick up petitions to deliver to me so that I can get them to the verification service. So there's lots of ways to help, not just sit in front of a Target or something like that. You can donate, you can help send out petitions. There's many ways.
Most people might feel that this is a volunteer thing, or that it doesn't really cost a lot of money. Can you kind of give the people a breakdown on why it costs so much money to get one of these things going?
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that question. I think people don't realize that when these volunteers, we're spending our own money, and this is what we're spending it on. We're printing our own petitions, so there's no big corporation paying for this. So each volunteer is going out and printing their own. We do have to mail the petitions to be verified. So there's a cost in mailing all the counties. There's 58 counties. And so that's a lot of postage cost. When somebody signs a petition in the wrong location, maybe they were Fresno County residents and they signed a Tulare County sheet, we take the time to send them a letter and give them a postage, like a postage stamped envelope to mail it back to us to correct that. So, we're trying to we want every signature to count. And sometimes people sign the wrong place, and we want to make sure that everything goes towards recalling this guy. So, there's a lot of cost in mailing and printing, and like as a volunteer, I drive around and pick up petitions every week. So I spend a lot of time on the road on my car, and I spend a lot of money on gasoline. So these are different costs that's required of a recall. But mostly, once we get all the signatures, we'll need to deliver all the signatures out to all of the 58 counties to be turned into the Register of Voters office. And I mean, think about it, 58 counties, and you're delivering stacks and stacks to all these counties. That's time, that's gasoline, that's what, you take in your vehicle. So, and these are all things that we've been just doing out of the kindness of our heart, because we want to see a different state and a very different leader.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit more on my basic question there. What do you expect the time limit is now that you've got the extension?
No, we don't have it yet.
You don't have it yet. All right,
November 6th.
Just take for hypothetical that we're going to get it. Where are you setting right now in this timeline with the amount of signatures that are going to be required? If you could run that out to the public, maybe they get a little better idea of what's going on.
All right, so where we're at, we are between 600,000 and 700,000 verified signatures, about 650 that are verified. That means they're good to go. We need the public, if you have any signatures, you need to turn them into a permanent signing location this week, because we need a hard number of where we're at. And so, it sounds like we're almost over. So get those turned in to any location, and that would be, I don't know what to do with this.
We're not almost over. We got
Okay.
a long time to go, but we're getting a signal for a break.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and stay watching. We shall return shortly. Mr. Engineer, you got it.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in some states protesting stay-at-home orders.
but you can't shut down politics.
We believe that there's been an overreaction to the close down.
Talk Radio 1550. KXEX.
I want you to think about someone that was there for you, someone that made you feel special and made a difference in your life as a child. We have hundreds of children on the waiting list, patiently waiting for a mentor. Can that be you? If so, please visit our website at bigs.org, bigs.org. Thank you.
The following statements may be disturbing or offensive for some audiences. Life begins at the very moment of conception. Every single life is priceless. Mankind is created in the very image of God. I know that the aforementioned statements did not offend you. At least I hope not. But for many in our culture today, they are sadly offensive. I believe that every life conceived should have every opportunity to reach its full potential.
I'm a busy single mom, and the flexibility of app-based driving works for my family. I could go out there and make money, and I can still see my daughter. The Sacramento politicians passed a new law making it illegal to work as independent contractors. And that's going to force the shutdown of app-based services here. We need Prop 22. 22 protects our work as independent contractors. It will save hundreds of thousands of jobs. Please vote yes on 22.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in some states protesting stay-at-home orders.
but you can't shut down politics.
We believe that there's been an overreaction to the close down.
Talk Radio 1550. KXEX.
Welcome back to Personalities in the News, and we will now continue with our talking points on these topics with our co-host Steve Hempfling, Director of the Free Enterprise Society. Myself and Sue Ann should be calling in shortly with some very interesting things on the constitutional issues of words in the legislation, what it means, and how the judges are supposed to look at it. And don't forget, the opinions and views of our hosts and guests are theirs and do not represent this program or stations. And now we will continue on with Ellen, as she was telling us all about some of the things that have to be done for this recall to become effective. Ellen, you got it.
All right, thanks. We were discussing what's it going to take now to get us over the finish line. If, hypothetically, if we get this extension of 90 days, that gives us a little over 100 days from now to collect about 1 million. We need about 1 million signatures at this point. So we're back to needing approximately 10,000 signatures per day, which was what we were needing at the very beginning. But then everything slowed down and we couldn't get those 10,000 signatures a day statewide. But we need 1.495 million, and that means we need about 1.8 million because there's a percentage of error in verifying the signatures. So we want to make sure that we in no way miss the mark. So by saying we need 1 million, 1.1, that's what we're looking at. What we need are volunteers, boots on the ground. At this point, there have been amazing volunteers who have been working nonstop 7 days a week. We need more volunteers. We need more people who feel passionate about removing Gavin to come help us. It is really a simple process of asking someone to write their name, sign, and give us their address for verifying that they're a registered voter. It's really a simple process to ask for signatures, but I don't think people think it might be more complicated than that. It's not. But yeah, we need more boots on ground. I don't know how to say it any differently than that.
Boots on the ground and people in their cars driving around those boots and delivering things that anybody can do to help. Steve, you had something to say?
Can I say one more thing?
Part of the money you need is you need some professionals at some point, but where do they go? I mean, I don't know that a recall has ever been done just by volunteer help. And but when they recalled Gavin, I think the Democratic Party must have been funding. I mean, that went very fast, and it was boom, boom. So.
Well, we have formed a very unique alliance with some paid petitioners throughout the state. There have been 2 other referendums that are in the works, and we've been working to be side by side with them at different locations, and they've been very helpful. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, I can't say that it has worked well with all paid petitioners, but there have been some who have a passion to remove Gavin, and they have allowed us to set up our table next to them. And I'll be honest, the numbers of signatures double when we work with them side by side, and they've been really helpful. So when we can get that kind of an allegiance, a working relationship going, that's really amazing, because it's boosted us, because we feel like we're working, they're training us, they're teaching us how to gather signatures, because see, we're all volunteers. This is not what I do for a living. So to be able to work side by side with somebody who's being paid and really understands the trade and is very successful has been helpful to us.
Now, what do you mean by paid petitioners?
Okay, paid petitioners are actually being paid by whatever group is putting a referendum onto the ballot. So they're getting paid anywhere from $6 to $10 a signature, where we're getting paid nothing, but we're paying forward. We're trying to get our state back, which is different. But they're being paid per signature. They have tactics. They understand how to address people in a way that us being like completely new to this, and we don't have any formal training, we're learning. We're learning how to gather signatures, be polite, but also not back down and let people just walk by. Engage in the people walking by at stores, and let them know why it is that we want to recall Gavin Newsom, and not be passive about it.
How do they operate? Do they have signs or any speakers or any of that type of thing that they use?
Same kind of signage we use, and they also say recall Gavin. Their referendums are loosely wrapped around issues that Gavin has signed, different executive orders that affect what they're making a referendum about. But they also have our recall petitions at their tables, and so people get drawn to their tables to sign the recall petition, and then are asked if they would sign the referendums as well. So it has worked well for some of us to do that.
Well, it's going to benefit everyone. I mean, I don't think Gavin Newsom has 3 more years, and he has no pathway to normalcy here. We're going to remain locked down in one form or another for his entire term. I'm convinced of it.
And quite frankly, it's getting cold outside having church outside now, and I can't imagine it, a month from now, what it's going to be like to be outside. And we really need to go inside.
Gavin feels your pain, I'm sure. Yeah.
I have one more little question about this, about the referendum. I understand there are other people other than the one that you're representing doing the same thing. Am I correct on that?
Or no, there's no other recall.
I thought I was misled, and I thought I'd ask that question just to find out.
There's only one recall that has been filed with the Secretary of State, and this is the Recall Gavin 2020 recall.
That's good.
Yeah. So the timing of this was perfect. We started this in the beginning of summer. It was meant to go through the summer, through the carnivals, the fairs, through concerts in the park, and we had it planned out, and then all those things got shut down. And so now here we are. We have about 3 weeks before November 17th, and we need that extension, and we need to keep people aware that we're not giving up on this. We want to recall Gavin. And November 6th is a very important date. There will be a ruling about whether we're granted the 90-day extension. We've already been assigned the judge who has already given 2 other groups the same 90-day privilege of working past their deadline for 90 days. And so we're hoping that's the case for us.
So even the well-funded petitions that you see are being held up. They're not being able to get the signatures they normally would get. You need 100,000 a day right now.
Yeah.
So.
In other words, the lockdown that he's participating in and enforcing is actually hurting your cause.
Absolutely.
And I think he's probably well aware of that.
Oh,
I think
yes,
a lot
he
of
is.
these lockdowns would be removed if this wasn't staring him in the face.
Yeah, I agree. And we've done the absolute best we can okay, so I heard that the amount of signatures that we've collected would qualify us for the Guinness Book of World Records for the most signatures collected by a volunteer army anytime, anywhere in the United States. This is,
wow.
Over 600,000. That's unprecedented. We're making history. And one of the things that this recall effort has done is brought us together. It has given us, people from different groups to have a conversation about how we want to take our state back and how we want to remove him and how he's hurt people. This is about good and evil. This is, right now we're in a political arena. Quagmire because the election's coming up in just a few days. And, some of us have already voted. We're in that cycle. But this isn't about the election coming up. This is about good and evil. And a lot of very good people have stepped up, volunteered, given so much of their time, their effort. They've spent a lot of their own money. It's like it takes a lot of money, but who's paying for it is all the volunteers. We're paying for it, and we're asking for people to continue and help us with this effort because, we're doing everything we can, but it takes an army, and I'm here calling out the army. We need the army to help.
We'll call out the Marines too.
there should be a big interest in donating money. These businesses are dying, and of course maybe that's the problem. They can't make payroll, and they can't hardly donate to anything right now.
Well,
so
and I think,
but still they're the ones being hurt, and
right.
It's illegal as far as I can tell.
Well, with the elections. We're in election season, and there's so many candidates needing to be supported right now. And also, so that the timing has been kind of rough for everybody. Everyone's trying to be successful right now. If we do get the 90-day, then what that does is it opens us up for people to donate more because they can see that we have an extension, and the extension is our lifeline right now.
Well, this might.
Well, you're right.
Your
donation should come up.
Yeah, I would say after the election is over, a lot of people will, instead of putting their money towards these people that have either lost the election or won it, towards this recall.
Right.
I think that's what it should do.
I completely agree with you.
Okay.
And so
when is the hearing for your extension?
November 6th at 11 o'clock in the morning. If you go to recallgavin2020.com, there's a link where you can watch the hearing live. And I encourage anyone interested. November 6th.
Oh, November 6th. No, sorry.
So I encourage anyone to go to recallgavin2020.com and watch the live feed, and you can find out in real time where we stand with the recall.
Good.
Everybody has to appear on those stupid cameras now, huh?
Well, we kind of advocate that, and of course we're enjoying our little stint here, and we are enjoying the information that you're giving us and the public, and we'll try to get you back either shortly before the 6th or shortly after to find out what's going on.
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're having our second break, and we'll be back in about 15 seconds, or no, about a couple of minutes. And we'll be going on with our talking points because we have a lot to cover tonight. Mr. Engineer, you got it.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in some states protesting stay-at-home orders.
but you can't shut down politics.
We believe that there's been an overreaction to the close down.
Talk Radio 1550. KXEX.
I want you to think about someone that was there for you, someone that made you feel special and made a difference in your life as a child. We have hundreds of children on the waiting list, patiently waiting for a mentor. Can that be you? If so, please visit our website at bigs.org, bigs.org. Thank you.
The following statements may be disturbing or offensive for some audiences. Life begins at the very moment of conception. Every single life is priceless. Mankind is created in the very image of God. I know that the aforementioned statements did not offend you. At least I hope not. But for many in our culture today, they are sadly offensive. I believe that every life conceived should have every opportunity to reach its full potential.
I'm a busy single mom, and the flexibility of app-based driving works for my family. I could go out there and make money, and I could still see my daughter. The Sacramento politicians passed a new law making it illegal to work as independent contractors. And that's going to force the shutdown of app-based services here. We need Prop 22. 22 protects our work as independent contractors. It will save hundreds of thousands of jobs. Please vote yes on 22.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in some states protesting stay-at-home orders.
but you can't shut down politics.
We believe that there's been an overreaction to the close down.
Talk Radio 1550. KXEX.
I want you to think about someone that was there for you, someone that made you feel special and made a difference in your life as a child. We have hundreds of children on the waiting list, patiently waiting for a mentor. Can that be you? If so, please visit our website at bigs.org, bigs.org. Thank you.
Society, myself and Sue Ann when she calls in, and a lot of thanks to Ellen for coming in for the Gavin Newsom thing. And we've got something else here. This is going to be talking about, when we took a break, about the masks. I won't wear one. I refuse to wear one. I'm not a criminal. And if I put it on, I'm going to be looked at as a criminal by some people. And if I don't wear it, I'm going to be looked like a criminal to others. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a report in September that shows wearing masks and face coverings is ineffective in preventing the spread of the coronavirus, even for those who wear them consistently. A study was conducted in the United States last July where they compared 154 case patients who tested positive for COVID-19 and 160 participants from the same healthcare facility who were symptomatic but tested negative. It was found that over 70% of the case patients were contaminated, with the virus and got sick despite always wearing a mask. In the 14 days before illness onset, 71% of case patients and 74% of control participants reported always using cloth face coverings or other mask types when in public, the report stated. Additionally, over 14% of the case patients said that they often wore face covering, yet they were still infected with the virus. The study also shows that under 4% of the case patients came sick with COVID-19 despite never wearing a mask or face covering. Although more than 70% of the case patients tried to follow the CDC recommendations to always wear face coverings at gatherings with 10 or more persons in a home, or shopping, dining at a restaurant, going to an office, and so forth. And they still came in contact with test positive for the virus. So this is right from the Commission for Studying this face mask thing. And yet you still see these people coming on the major media, oh, you got to wear a mask. And then a couple of days later, no, you don't need to wear a mask. What are you supposed to do? Listen to the experts? Well, they've been wrong all of this time. And you look back at all the other pandemics that have been had, if they were actually pandemics.
Sue Ann on line one.
Okay, Sue Ann is calling in. Sue Ann, are you on?
Yes.
Good. You want to pick up on the topic? You've got the schedule there, don't you?
Hi. Yes, I've got the schedule here. I was very interested in the gal that is doing the Newsom recall.
Yes, she's still here. If you want to ask her a question, she's still here.
Oh, she's still there?
Yes.
Well, no, I don't want to ask her anything. The idea is that, you know, when you're doing these things, it's so important to be aware of what's actually going on around you, and it's really good that she is working with people who have an idea because they get paid to do it. And I think that was really awesome information that, you know, she provided. You know, that we were talking the other day about how they changed the laws. I didn't know if this was a good time or it would be late for me to do this later.
We'll carry on, whichever one of you want to address that. Ellen, would you like to address that? Or Steve, you want to kick in on that? What her statement was?
Well, I'm not sure what our question is. We do have a Facebook thing real quick on Ellen. It's from Brad B. in Arkansas. He says, watching from Arkansas. So
Wonderful. Oh, Brad Beaumont. Hi, Brad. That's wonderful.
Okay, Sue Ann, would you restate your position here so we can answer it?
Certainly. One of the things that, you know, back in the 1990s, I went to court different times. Again, I went in 2009, and I had 3 dismissals and 2 not guilty, no license, no registration. And you think about that, how could you get that done? And the one thing I learned in doing the law research is that the dictionaries that the courts use, attorneys use, and Truman brought up the Congress, what they are using, okay, and most of them like the Black's Law Dictionary, and Black has, I know they have more than 10 of them. editions, and every edition they make a change to it, and the information eventually was originally set up so that they would have court cases after the definition saying what the court says that word meant. And I think it's either in the 7th or 8th edition, they stopped using the court cases. And a definition in 4th 1 through 4 is really different than 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I find that very interesting because if they change the definition of a word, they've changed the law. And how can you change the law by changing the definition in a word?
Let's carry that on just a little bit farther. Let's go back a few years, as a matter of fact, before, I think you told me the other day it was in 1996 that they made a ruling of some kind somewhere that blacks was to be used in spite of all the other dictionaries. Now, I have a personal experience on that when I was in court, and I was going back to the dictionary that was used in my particular instance, and the prosecution came up with a different meaning out of Merriam-Webster's, and I questioned that, and the judge says I was out of order. That's when I was doing my own thing. And in the second trial, I tried to bring it up with a public defender, and they wouldn't let him bring that in either. So when you go back to when the Constitution was drafted, what dictionary did they use? Was it Bouvier's or was it some other? Sue, you got a handle on that?
Well, it was Bouvier's. Bouvier's was the dictionary at that time for the terms that were used in the Constitution, in the Articles of Confederation, in the Declaration of Independence, the Northwest Ordinance. Those are all of your organic laws, and you will find them in Volume 1 of the United States Code. And it's not part of the code, code section. It's the preface of the code section. So the preface is the organic laws. Then it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of the code. And so I think that's very interesting that those are all of your organic laws.
Okay, so if someone were to bring a suit forward and wound up at the Supreme Court, would it be incumbent on them to research Bouvier's against the dictionary that was used at the time of this lawsuit coming on to ascertain if there was a difference in the meaning of the words? And if they don't do that, aren't they kind of shirking their duty?
I think they would be. One of the things is that my forte is in traffic, and I've got a 45-page document on traffic. And that's one of the things I did was I used Bouvier's, Ballantyne's, and Black, and I showed the difference between them. And of course, if you've got at least 10 different editions of Black, but you only have one, I think there's 2 for Bouvier's, and Ballantyne's is only 1. So, you know, if you look at the different ones, it makes a big difference how the word is being used. And of course, doing the different editions is okay, primarily because they do add words. But the problem is they go in and they change the definition of a word, and that actually changes the law. And so you have a real challenge with how they go about doing that. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't like it. And I think that our laws are being changed by them changing the definition in a court case and then adding it into the new edition of Black's law.
I have a question for you. Where can these budding legal eagles out there that are concerned with what we're doing, when we come back, where can they get copies of Bouvier's and the other one that you talked about? Are they still available? I know I've got mine on disc, but I got to change the formatting. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're in for our last break of the evening. It is now 5:45, and we shall be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Stay tuned. We have more. Mr. Engineer.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in some states protesting stay-at-home orders.
but you can't shut down politics.
We believe that there's been an overreaction to the close down.
Talk Radio 1550. KXEX.
I want you to think about someone that was there for you, someone that made you feel special. They made a difference in your life as a child. We have hundreds of children on the waiting list, patiently waiting for a mentor. Can that be you? If so, please visit our website at bigs.org, bigs.org. Thank you.
The following statements may be disturbing or offensive for some audiences. Life begins at the very moment of conception. Every single life is priceless. Mankind is created in the very image of God. I know that the aforementioned statements did not offend you. At least I hope not. But for many in our culture today, they are sadly offensive. I believe that every life conceived should have every opportunity to reach its full potential.
I'm a busy single mom, and the flexibility of app-based driving works for my family. I could go out there and make money, and I could still see my daughter. The Sacramento politicians passed a new law making it illegal to work as independent contractors. And that's going to force the shutdown of app-based services here. We need Prop 22. 22 protects our work as independent contractors. It will save hundreds of thousands of jobs. Please vote yes on 22.
When farmers are ready to harvest a crop, there's one person they call, the farm labor contractor. They arrange for field workers to get that crop to your dinner table. These contractors are experts in food safety and are charged with making sure you receive only the best produce. As the crop is being harvested, they ensure workers have fresh water, breaks, and even transportation. The California Association of Agricultural Labor is proud to represent California's farm labor contractors. Our members put quality first, so you can enjoy savory produce that's truly Valley delicious.
You can shut down the country,
Some people in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going live.
Welcome back to Personalities in the News and our topics for today with our host and our guest talking about the Recall Gavin. Now we're going to continue on with our talking points. Call in. Talk Radio 1550 AM KXEX 559-899-1550. And we look forward to your comments. And Steve, you want to continue on, or Sue Ann, would you want to continue on?
Well, you asked a question, and I didn't get to answer that question.
Okay, then answer the question.
Do you remember the question?
We were talking about where can these budding paralegals and lawyers can get a copy of Bouvier's and the other ones that you were talking about, and are they available and where?
Okay, they are available and they're on the internet. I love the internet for these reasons. If you want the Bouvier or Valentine, it's on the internet. So ask for Bouvier, and there are places that actually have a full copy of Bouvier's dictionary and you can get the answer to any question you need to ask for.
Yeah. Well, you
I don't know the I don't know the exact site for it, but I know it's on the internet.
Okay, well, you lawyers and budding paralegals and lawyers out there, if you don't have those dictionaries in your law book collection, you should. Because how are you going to write up a decent appeal unless you know what the language is being used? And then you have to put that against the ones that they're using when they drafted that legislation, and also with the current lawsuit that you're working on. And that applies to everybody.
Yep.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, well, they have thinned down. I've got 4th edition blacks here, and it's like 4 inches thick, and the newer ones are not that thick. They're taking something out of it, as Sue Ann has mentioned. But, I want to put another plea out for attorneys and paralegals that are interested in these topics. We have people contacting us in Free Enterprise Society with troubles or tickets or arrest in regards to these issues of constitutional rights, and we need more help on that too. But just if you're interested in those subjects, I hope you can contact Free Enterprise Society at freeenterprisesociety.com. But also on there is the constructive notice. If you're having trouble, if you're a business having trouble with the county enforcers, this is an excellent thing to give to them. We've had many reports of when they've been served with these things, they don't come back and harass that business anymore. And that's also what they used in Santa Cruz on a closed, taped-up beach. They served the police and everybody over there with these things and took the tape down, went out on the beach on Labor Day, and it's been open, I guess, ever since, from what I understand. But also on the website is all of our recommendations for this voter on November 3rd, all the propositions, and some of them are absolutely insane here in California. Doing away with bail and that kind of thing. When in doubt, always vote no is what I say. So I got on ours, it's really a vote no on everything but one, and that is letting the people doing the driving for Uber and stuff, taxi cabs and all that, to be independent if they want to be. That I don't think government getting more involved with that's a good thing, and having more control over people. This is counter to what Free Enterprise Society stands for. We're not anarchists, but people have got to make their own decisions, and that's true with COVID too. And Governor Newsom has no right to order me any more than Bozo the Clown to wear a mask or stay home or do whatever he said.
Well, he is Bozo the Clown, isn't he?
No, somebody's cutting his hair. He's getting his hair cut.
Well, maybe it's the same people that are taking care of Pelosi in San Francisco, because they are related, by the way.
This governor here in California is really driving me insane. We do have a couple comments here, though. Let's see. Michael wrote in, it's a big problem when they rewrite the laws to suit their agenda. They can't just change the definition of a word on a 100-year-old statute and expect that to fly. You really do need the definition from 1800, if you can get it, as close to that as you can get it when you're looking at a law or something, or the Constitution written around that time. Same is true of anything. Even a law written in 1990, a lot has changed since 1990. In the way people speak and the terms that are used, and Webster's likes to follow those kind of trends, which I can't believe, Truman, you said that your court was using Webster's in it. I mean, that's idiotic to me.
Well, the prosecutor came up and said, "No, I just got one that came in from Merriam-Webster's. She read it on court, and I tried to object, and because it was not timely, and because it was not on the same, basically on the same subject." And of course, when you have an attorney, they won't let you speak. When I was doing my own, they said, "No, that's irrelevant." So what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, Ellen would appreciate that too. I mean, some of the stuff Gavin is doing with his executive orders. I mean, you even pointed this out to him, and where at the end he says, "Well, I can't really enforce this. I have no legal authority to do this." He put it in different words that a lot of people may not understand, but that's what he said. And so it's kind of driving me insane here. That everybody thinks he has that authority.
Yeah, we got just a few more minutes here, and I want to bring up one subject that needs to be attacked next with this constructive notice, and that is Sue Ann's favorite topic, the motor vehicle statutes, because they are completely commercial, they are completely voluntary in that thing, they are not criminal. and yet they're using criminal process against us out there when we're traveling. And there is a difference between traveling and driving. Won't go into that here. We did a program on that about a year ago, and I think that is our next attack that we should make with this constructive notice, is going after these people and say, hey, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. California Constitution says you have no jurisdiction when we're doing that. Same with fishing licenses and so forth, which I helped a couple of people win on that one.
I think people are going to have to gear up on that, because they're already talking about using what they learned on COVID lockdowns and rights violations to use on global warming. For example, you're traveling to see your grandmother, they're going to say that's not good travel. You know, it's not urgent travel, not necessary travel, and they'll stop you and tow your vehicle at that point. These are the things they're talking about implementing to enforce global warming.
Okay, I got something to say. Okay.
Do it.
There are one of the gentlemen that came up last week to see me has no plate on his car, and he's got a wording on the back of his
mode of transportation
on his trunk, and he's been doing that now for 3 years. So he has been able to, you know, for the most part, not get stopped all the time. Now, I had a gentleman that for 7 years, when I had my accident, for 7 years, he drove around in a car that had no plate, and he had no license, and he had paperwork, and that paperwork worked well for him.
Yeah, Sue Ann, we're coming up on a time thing here. I'm going to have to interject. We'll carry this on to the next conversation, if that's all right, and we'll get started on that. But I'm going to read. I'm going to read why.
I'm going to go.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to read why it's important to vote. For those of you who say, I can't believe you would vote for Trump. Well, folks, listen up. I'm not just voting for him. This isn't a personality contest. I'm voting for the Second Amendment. I'm voting for the next Supreme Court justice. I'm voting for the Electoral College and the republic we live in. I'm voting for the police and law and order. I'm voting for the military and the veterans who fought and died for this country. I'm voting for the flag that is always missing from the Democratic background. I'm voting for the right to speak my opinion and not be censored. I'm voting for secure borders. I'm voting for the right to praise my God without fear. I'm voting for every unborn soul the Democrats want to murder. I'm voting for freedom and the American dream. I'm voting for the good and against evil. I'm not just voting for one person. I'm voting for the future of our country. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What are you voting for? Think about it. If you like this, or you had a way to copy it, rewrite it, same wording, paste it to your computer, and pass it on before Election Day if you can. Because this says it all. This will salvation for our country, and we need that. Steve, you have any more comments from social?
Yeah, well, Mike from Michigan says we just signed our petition to recall our Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Well, just congratulations. I hope that works out. And he also commented on the global warming, what a farce that is. Mother Nature cleans herself, which occurs all the time. And that's all I got right now. So
that's the only one. How many hits have we gotten tonight, roughly?
Well, I showed 4 or 5 comments so far.
Okay, that's good. People are listening, and a lot of people don't want to call in because these are very touchy subjects, and a lot of people are afraid to identify themselves with our cause, and especially those that say I'm voting for Trump because it's been put down in such a bad light. Ellen, do you have any closing comments?
Yeah, please go to recallgavin2020.com and look up your county and get information on the recall. We need your help. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
If you like our format and topics, let us know and tell others. Our time is up for this evening. Thanks to the hosts for their views and opinions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week, same time and new stations. Talk Radio, KXEX 1550. Call in 559-899-1550 and channel 32.3 television. Truman Sigler for co-hosts and Ellen, good night.
It's a wrap.